and wellness on Today. Brought to you by McGorrisk's Pharmacy. Available in-store and online.
Fáilte Nash, now, if you are one of the many who just can't seem to shake those winter colds and flus, your immune system may need a little boost, Maura.
Yes, it certainly is the time of year for it, and here to explain how we can be vulnerable during this time of year, and more importantly, what we can do to help ourselves, is pharmacist Ashley Doane. Ashley, great to have you with us for the first time. You are very welcome to us. You know what? We probably are kind of hitting into flu season, and we've heard an awful lot of the hospitals being overwhelmed, and there are different types of bugs going around. What can we do to kind of boost our immune system?
So I suppose the immunity would start with nutrition. So you're looking at, diet with fruit and vegetables, lean proteins, all that kind of stuff. But also be looking at sleep is a huge factor for immunity. Daily exercise, very, very important. Hydration, these things. Yeah. Sometimes we can get stressed out in life as well. So long periods of chronic stress can definitely weaken the immune system as well. Yeah.
And I suppose we're inside a lot during this time of year because the cold and all that. So not that we have a deal of sunshine, but we're probably lacking in certain vitamins naturally.
Absolutely. So we're spending a lot of time indoors, so that does increase the transmission of the colds and flus and RSV, which we are seeing an uptick this cold and flu season as well. So we have seen some ICU issues there. But with that, we're spending a lot of time indoors and not getting out into the sun. So, when we get out into the sun, we're producing vitamin D, which is so important for our immune system. And obviously, being in the Northern Hemisphere, in Ireland, we're not getting a lot of daylight anyway, so we do need to kind of...
So we need to do something about that.
Absolutely.
What about our nasal passages being indoor all the time? It can't be good, I'd imagine, Ashley.
Yeah, so the colds and flus generally kind of get in through three areas. It's your eyes, your nose and your mouth. But the nose is the best kind of filter for it. So the drops in temperature, the drops in humidity means that the cold and flu viruses get a little bit more stable, a little bit happier to kind of go from person to person. But also our immune systems themselves actually are weakened in that colder temperature.
Right. Okay, so when somebody comes in to you, before you recommend vitamins and all that, you go through the lifestyle steps with them. It's just like you mentioned. And I suppose exercise as well, trying to get out. What is the recommended? It's about 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, so I often recommend 35 systems. So 30 minutes, moderate and mild exercise 5 times a week. That should be sufficient to kind of get the immune system activated.
Yeah. What about sleep then, Ashley? How important is that, and how much should we get every night?
Well, sleep depends on person to person. So what I would recommend is you should be at least aiming for 7 hours a night. Now, that's not always possible. Some people might function well off 6 hours, but sleep is the most important thing in our lives. If you talk to someone who's sleep deprived, every other factor is going to be affected. So when we sleep, our immune system is actually activated. The cytokines in our immune system are activated when we are sleeping.
God, I swear to God, I'm such a bad sleeper.
You don't sleep at all, this one.
No, I'm a dreadful sleeper, but I really feel, you pick up things when you are kind of wrecked. But you're always asking about teens there. We often talk about, you hear, my teens won't get out of bed, but they need more, do they?
Absolutely. Well, teens, look, they're in that growing stage, and with that, they're also spending a lot of time indoors with school, with exams, etc.
On screens, maybe as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned all the things that are good for our immune system, like sleep, like getting out for exercise, and certain nutrients as well. And it's fair to say, if you don't do that, your immune system is going to be weakened.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, look, in an ideal world, you'll be incorporating all of those things, but, life gets in the way, so supplementation is never a bad idea either.
Okay.
Kind of boost yourself along.
If you were to pick, we know vitamin D, you've mentioned that, but if you were to pick a few other vitamins and minerals that we need, what would you put on the list for right now?
For this time of year, cold and flu season, I would definitely recommend vitamin C. So, you can get that through your diet, through, citrus fruits. Zinc is a very powerful antioxidant as well, so it can prevent you getting sick, but it can also prevent the duration of the illness by over 3 times. So it can reduce, if you do get sick, it can reduce that recovery period by 2 days.
And where can you get that naturally?
Zinc would be, nuts and seeds and, poultry, meat, egg yolks. So don't be ditching your egg yolks if you're having an omelette.
Because people do that, don't they? If they're on certain diets, they're kind of, they do.
Yeah, I like the yolks.
Okay, so if we're not great and we're running around, we're working, we're doing all that kind of stuff, we're busy, what should we take? And maybe you've brought some bits and pieces in.
I brought some stuff here from Pharma Plus. Now, this is a Irish brand and it's designed by pharmacists, so it's good. So the Active Immune would be a good place to start. It has everything you need. It has the vitamin D, again, good for immunity, good for bones, particularly for older people, with bone mineral density. Vitamin C in there. You have zinc, again, for reducing the duration of the illness but preventing against illness. You have a complex of vitamin B,
that's
so
good
that's
for
good
energy.
for energy and mental function. It also has something called N-acetylcysteine, which is a really powerful antioxidant. But if you are sick, it actually works at breaking up the mucus as well. So that's a really interesting thing. But further on it, there is something called Wellmune in it, which is a patented kind of technology by the Kerry Group. So that's really good for your immunity and also mental focus.
Because we chat about taking care of our immune system this time of year, but we should be doing it all year round.
Year round, 100%. Yeah. But obviously, look, we're indoors more often now, so and with the cold and flu viruses going around.
Great. Well, you actually have something there as well for teens, as you said. What would be the most important vitamins for teenagers to get extra of? Would you look at the B vitamins around?
Yeah, so there is B vitamins in that. They also have included folic acid in that, which is really good for development and growing and mental focus as well. You know, if you're coming up to exams, etc. It has the vitamin D, it has the vitamin C in it, so it is a really good intuitive list of ingredients. It's really smartly designed, I would say.
Okay. You know, it's funny, we talk about the gut so much, and now we're learning how the gut impacts our immunity as well. Should we be taking probiotics?
I think yes. So, you know, with our diets, we're not getting a lot of fibre, and fibre is really good for, you know, building up the gut health. But probiotics, particularly if you've taken an antibiotic, which loads are going out at the moment, I'm dispensing a lot of probiotics. 70% of our immune cells are actually in the gut, so that's everywhere in the digestive tract. So it is the kind of the hub of immunity.
So when you say digestive tract, you're talking about from here all
the way down.
Because people think of the gut, they focus on the middle part, but it's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing, yeah. So when you're taking antibiotic, look, I think some of the antibiotics are going out. These are viral things, but the antibiotic will come in and it doesn't discriminate between good and bad bacteria. But we want some of that good bacteria to kind of not only help us with digestive problems, but also fight the microorganisms that we are just consuming every day.
Yeah, I think as a pharmacist, though, I'd love to know whether you think you should take probiotics in tandem with the antibiotic, or is the antibiotic, or afterwards, because if you're taking it with the antibiotic, is it just kind of killing the probiotics off? What do you think?
There are some products that you can get that you can take in congruence, I would say, if you're taking the antibiotic. I'd say if you just wait until afterwards, it's absolutely
Makes
fine.
more
but
sense.
People do happily take probiotics year round because they do really have a good effect on digestive problems, you know, inflammation in the gut. If you have IBD, these kind of things, probiotics can be very beneficial.
And can you take them all the time?
You can do, yeah. It's absolutely no problem. Yeah, absolutely no problem to do it. I mean, look, to boost yourself, of course, yeah.
What else do we have here, Ashley?
So we have, next up we have echinacea. So this has been around for
a herb,
Sometimes people prefer to opt for like the natural remedies, and that's absolutely fine. Now, what I would say with echinacea, you would only be taking it for maximum of 4 weeks, because beyond that you can actually reduce your immune system.
So it's counterproductive?
Yeah, to take it for too long. So if you know, say for example in December, January, okay, I got 2 bouts of a cold last year, take it for the 4 weeks. But what it is very good at doing, and it definitely can help, would be reducing the duration of the illness if you've already contracted it.
That's really good to know, though, because we're all trying to get back to work, or we're busy, people
we all
have
think
kids.
we know how to use it, and we don't.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's good to know how. And you can use that happily, use echinacea in tandem with other vitamins as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You can, yeah. So you've got a cough bottle, lots of coughs going around, loads of coughs.
Yeah, so the Bronchostop is a great seller because, you know, sometimes people come in, and particularly with people who don't know if they have, you know, like a cold or flu, and they have that in-between kind of cough. Bronchostop has thyme and marshmallow extract, so again, herbal remedies, but it can kind of hit that dry throat because of
it's soothing with the marshmallow,
but it can also help break up the phlegm for certain people as well.
Very important. And finally, then we have the omega-3s.
Omega-3s, so important, honestly, and it's an essential fatty acid, so we are not producing it ourselves. We need to get it through diet. Now, look, we're an island, we're surrounded by fish, but we don't get a lot of oily fish in, we don't get enough of it in. So the omega-3 is a really powerful antioxidant, so it is really good for reducing inflammation. It can help with immunity, but it can also help with, you know, your skin and hair and like
your bones as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. Everyone should be taking omega-3.
And back to what we were doing a few years ago, is washing our hands, sneezing into our elbow. We should be doing all that stuff all the time.
Well, look, just be aware of, you know, that the fact that these things are being transmitted more commonly now. So yeah, sneezing into, ideally a tissue that you'd use singly, you bin it. But it is great to see people sneezing in. We learned a few techniques. Sneezing into the inside of the elbow and
washing your hands all the time as well.
Yes, and what I would say, if you are symptomatic, you know, particularly if you have any symptoms, you are contagious. So just be mindful of that. And the annoying thing about the flu, you'll know it's the flu because it'll be like hit by a truck. But you are symptomatic a day before the symptoms come on, and then the 3 days of your worst symptoms is when you're most contagious. So
Yeah,
if you
so
are
try and
contagious,
stay
don't
away.
be going back to the office and say, no,
Yeah.
I'm over it now, because you
You're
can
just
actually
spreading
still
it.
spread it.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ashley, thank you
Ashley,
so
thank
much
you.
for
It's a
that
pleasure.
and giving
Dr.
us
Maura,
those
thank you so much.
recommendations.
Yeah.
It's great. And of course, more information on all of that, you can check out our Instagram and Facebook pages at RTÉ Today.
Health and Wellness on Today. Brought to you by McGorrisk's Pharmacy. Available in store and online.